If you are new to collecting, I'm glad you clicked on this video because it is overwhelming to start, and with each passing year it gets harder and harder. You know, I remember 6 years ago when I was first getting started, it was very overwhelming at that time. Do you realize how many new releases we've had since then that we have to look through now? It's crazy. And so with all of the fragrance content out there, it really can be hard to get a good grip and know where to start. So I'm going to try to make it easy for you and give you 10 examples of great fragrances to kick your collection off with. There's one small catch, and that's that I'm not going to try to feed you all of the super basic predictable stuff. Now there are a couple fundamental fragrances that will be in here, and they're ones that people who've been around for any amount of time know very well at this point and would be considered to be redundant or whatever to people who have them already. But as a beginner, there are a few that everyone knows about that I think everyone should have. But aside from that, I try to feature some things that maybe you wouldn't normally think of to, start out with, and I think they're great options to go for. And so another thing is when you're purchasing fragrances, you want to utilize online discounters as much as you can. So I'll drop links down below to all of these fragrances, and they will take you to prices below retail. And another thing is things get discontinued and go out of stock and get rare all the time pretty quickly. So if you want to stay up to date on all of the best restocks and great deals and hard to find fragrances, hit the first link down below and sign up to my mailing list, and also send a text to the number down below to get text alerts as well. That way you'll be notified whenever something good comes up. I want to get things kicked off with Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé by Givenchy. Now this is going to be a fantastic entry point into the iris fragrance genre. So besides iris, there's some sandalwood in here, a little bit of cacao, which kind of gives off a dusty, chocolatey smell, a little bit of tonka bean. This one's fantastic. It maintains some versatility because there's a lot of woody support from the sandalwood here, but you still get some of that sweet iris and chocolatey kind of smell going on. But it doesn't go to the level of something like Gentleman Eau de Parfum or Valentino Uomo Intense or even DIOR Homme Intense. It really stays away from those, kind of backs everything off and makes it more wearable and more approachable overall. There's a few other good starting points out there for iris scents. Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum is another good one to start out with. It's also very versatile, but I think this one's a little bit more affordable, and it might be the better way to go when you're starting out. Next up, we have Montblanc Explorer. So, it's not going to take you too long to run into something called Creed Aventus. And that is one that you can't escape. It's everywhere. Everyone loves it. Well, that's not true. Everyone talks about it, and some people love it, some people hate it, I guess is what I was trying to get to there. But there's no escaping it. So instead of paying, upwards of $300+ on discounters or $485 to $500 at retail, you could choose from one of the many clones. And trust me when I say there are a lot of fragrance clones of Creed Aventus. It's crazy. So where should you start? Here's a great designer option. You can dive into all of the true clone brands like Armaf and Alharmain and things like that. They have great options, but if you want to stick with designers, you want to stick with things that you can get at retailers if you wanted to, or just, that's readily available, widespread at a bunch of discounters, something like Montblanc Explorer is going to be the way to go. And yes, it gets you pretty close to Aventus. I think there are some better options out there when it comes to accuracy, but this one actually brings a little bit more of a designer approach to Aventus, which already is very easy to pull off in and of itself, but this one's it's just even easier to wear, it's even easier to like, and it's very affordable at about $40. So this next one is one of those scents that, a lot of people, most people who've been around for any amount of time know about, and most people probably have it at this point. But if you're new, if you're brand new, you probably don't have it yet, and maybe you haven't heard of it yet, but I do think it is a fundamental fragrance, and I do believe this to be one of the very best date night fragrances for men that has ever been created, and I still think it holds up to that title in 2023. It's the One Eau de Parfum by Dolce & Gabbana. It's all about the tobacco, the amber, get a little bit of grapefruit off the top, a hint of cardamom spice in here as well. This is an absolute work of art. Masterpiece. Have no problem assigning that title to this one. It really is. It is amazing. It's a victim of its own success. It's so good. It has touched so many people that it became very popular, and now it's harder to pull off and smell unique while doing so. But for date night scenarios, for just evenings out. You could still pull this one off. It's still going to do very well even today, and it is a must-have in my opinion. There's a reason why my bottle is basically empty. I wear it at home in the evenings now pretty much, just because it's a very comforting scent. It's one you can wind down with and enjoy. Really love this stuff a lot. Okay, next up we have Armani Code Eau de Parfum. You know, there's a lot to choose from. A couple of the best ones have been discontinued. Profumo and Absolu, those are amazing, but they're getting hard to find. So that leaves, of course, the original. That leaves the new Parfum. There's Colonia, which is kind of floating around. I think it's also been technically discontinued. Maybe there's less than I thought. They're discontinuing all of them. So, you know, I think the Parfum would be a great way to go, but also the Eau de Parfum is a fantastic choice as well when you're starting out. It's got vanilla, suede, and tonka bean here. It's still maintaining that original DNA, but with a bit of a twist, which I really enjoy. And I think this one is truly just bringing a modernized approach to that original DNA. I don't think there's a whole lot of incentive to buy the original EDT right now anymore when you can go for something like the Eau de Parfum or the Parfum. That's just my opinion. But I do think it is worth having some sort of Armani code, and the Eau de Parfum is a great selection. Next up, we have Missoni Wave, and this is kind of going to be a hybrid clone action of Versace Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Takes the bright, sparkling, citric pop from the Versace and takes the creamy, kind of sweet, powdery sexiness from the Chanel and combines them both. So for those who are unaware, Chanel Allure Homme Sport came first in 2004. Yes, all the way back in 2004. This DNA still smells modern to this day. Versace Pour Homme came out in 2008, a mere 4 years later, and there was a big correlation between the two. This one just combines the best of both worlds at about $40. So it saves you a lot of money versus buying both, you know, or if you were just to buy the Chanel, instead you can just buy this and save, you know, more than half the price. So this next one is another one I was referring to when you're talking about those kind of boring options or boring choices or redundant ones, but it's another staple that I do think every guy should have in their collection, and it's another affordable one. You're looking at about $45 on discounters for 100 ml. If you toss in an extra, I think $20, you can get a 200 ml. So the math definitely is in your favor there. You double the amount you get for half the price. Essentially works out to be something like that. But it's Versace Dylan Blue. You know, it's a blue scent. You got to have some sort of blue scent. Now, you could go with something like Bleu de Chanel and break the bank. You could go for something like Sauvage and break the bank. You know, what's the purpose? Well, they do have a substantial quality. They do have, you know, Sauvage has great performance. Bleu de Chanel, not so much. I'll kind of walk back on that. But they're great. You know, they have their own little piece of market share, and there's appeal for each one. I think Dylan Blue really dominates the mid-range price of, you know, just the designer scents, coming in at, you know, just a hair less than $50. That is very competitive pricing, and that is a price that a lot of guys are going to be very comfortable with, versus even at discounters, you're still paying $100+ for Sauvage, and for Chanel, you can't get it at discounter, so you're well over $100 for that. This is one that you can get into with a relatively low barrier to entry, and it still gives you the blue fragrance thing going on. This one's got a little bit more sweetness. There's some incense patchouli in here. Definitely going to be the sweeter blue scent out there, but it still works really well for evenings out, and the performance is amazing. It's a 10+ hour scent easily. There's a reason why this one has been so popular. Next up, John Varvatos XX Artisan. I think every guy, beginner or not, should have a vetiver scent, and this is one that I would point you to. It's got some bitter orange, some cedar wood, a little bit of bergamot along with that vetiver in here, but really the vetiver is the main player. It's a little bit soapy, it's a tad bit earthy, but really it's very wearable, and I think it's a unique approach on vetiver. It doesn't smell like Roja Parfums vetiver or Guerlain vetiver or Tom Ford Grey vetiver. It is in its own little category here, which I really like. And when you look at the price point, which I want to say $60. It's a little bit higher than some of the other John Varvatos. It's still newer. There is time for it to come down, but right around $60. I think it offers great value. It's cheaper than all the other ones that I said by a significant margin, and it's just one that you should have around. I guess actually it's not cheaper than Guerlain vetiver, but it's still pretty close. Definitely one of my favorite vetiver scents. Now this next one is definitely very affordable, right around $20 to $25. I've had this one for a long time, one of my favorite playful summertime scents, Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct. So this one has melon, has gin and tonic, there's some musk and a little bit of black pepper in here. This is the go-to tropical, relaxing, fun, and playful summertime scent. Now one thing you have to know about this one, and I want to make this clear, it's a very playful and young smelling scent. So a lot of guys out there that are, you know, maybe in your 40s, 50s, and so on, you might not like this. You might, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I think anyone can wear this. It's a matter of preference, and you have to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into here. Again, the good news, if you're buying it at discounters, which you definitely should be, you should not go out and buy this at retail. That would be a big waste of money. It's only 20 to 25 bucks. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you don't like it, you could give it to your son or someone else. But I just wanted to make that clear. It's going to be more playful, but if you do want something like that for the summertime, it is the perfect time of year to wear something like Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct. I think everyone should also have Jimmy Choo Man Ice, whether you're starting out or not. But I think if you're starting out, it's a great time to jump in. It's another one that's easy on the wallet. You're looking at roughly $30 or so. And to put it simply, this is DIOR Homme Cologne on a pretty hefty budget. So DIOR Homme Cologne is a scent that has been dubbed of smelling like, you know, an iced cold glass of lemonade on a hot summer's day, and it's a very, very true description of that one. I didn't come up with it. It's been going around for years, ever since it first came out, but it is by far the best description of that scent if you're not trying to use notes and everything to describe it. It's one of the most refreshing scent DNAs out there. It is one of the few scent DNAs that you can wear on a super hot 100 plus degree humid July or August summer day and not get sick of it. You really have to be careful in those situations because it's very easy to put something on and have it completely just take over and annoy you and make you regret everything. But that DNA is one that will actually cool you off, and it's quite refreshing. It's expensive though, DIOR Homme Cologne. It's $100 plus at discounters. Again, this one falling in that $30 range. It is a great option. You can get into it here if you really like it. Maybe you can treat yourself to the, you know, DIOR someday, or you can stick with this, but at least this is a good starting point, and there's nothing wrong with starting here. This is a really good one. And we're going to finish this one off with DIOR Homme 2020. So this one has cashmere wood, there's some Isoe Super, quite a bit of vetiver, some cedar wood, a little bit of bergamot. It's very woody. That is the name of the game here. It is modern, it's masculine, it's woody, it's clean, but not like out of the shower. It's just a woody, clean scent. There is no situation that you couldn't wear this one to. It is that versatile. I've said this before, but if you're new, maybe you haven't heard me say it. You go into any store and, you know, they have the magazine sitting up there, like, I don't know, GQ or whatever they are. There's always that dude on the front cover, well-dressed and well-groomed. You might think to yourself, what would he be wearing? It would be this. It would be DIOR Homme 2020. This is literally the quintessential modern man of 2023. It came out 3 years ago, but I mean, this is going to be modern and trendy smelling for quite some time. In fact, I don't think this type of thing will ever truly smell dated. And so what does that mean? That means, one, the versatility that we talked about. You can wear it for anything. But two, you can have it for years and you can wear it for years and still smell up to date. It's not like an aromatic fougere where now, if you were to wear that out, some people may say that you smell like their grandpa or their dad, or that you smell old. That is not the case here. It's a great bang for your buck, great value, great investment. Yeah, it's right around 100 at discounters, but you actually get your money's worth out of this. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. If you're a beginner, I hope this helped you out. Even if you're not a beginner, I know a lot of you guys watch every video regardless, and so if you've been around as long as me or longer than me and you watch through this, hey, I appreciate it. Maybe you kind of now decided to get some of these if you hadn't gotten them yet. Regardless of where you're at, I hope this helped you out. I will drop links down below, and most importantly, I hope the mailing list and the texting list is helping you guys out. I know it is because I see how quickly things sell out. So if you want to be notified of the best deals and best restocks in the game, hit the link down below, sign up, send a text to the number down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.